Hello, hello, and welcome everybody. Whoop, whoop. Welcome to another Jeff Ed. Hope you guys are having a fan-freaking-tastic Tuesday. If you're in the building, if you're watching this Jeff Ed, let me know. Pop a little comment down below and let me know you here. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. Welcome to another Jeff Ed with Coach Ed. Hope you guys are having a fantastic one. I'm just going to open up the comments over here so I know who is in the building with me. Again, if you're tuning in, let me know in the comments. Say hello. Let me know you're here and watching. Hey, Samantha. Hope you're having an awesome Tuesday. I'm having one of those crazy Tuesdays, but that's how things are, Jeff. We go at 1,000 miles a minute, so every day is kind of crazy. But it's an awesome day. Wilma, hello. Glad you're here. Thanks for coming. I hope you're ready. I hope you have your notepad out. Get some water. Get comfortable. We're in for a doozy. Melanie, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Celeste, hello. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. Come in. Get comfortable. Grab a notepad. Get some water. I want your undivided attention for the next couple minutes. Philippa, hi. How are you? Glad. Thanks for coming. Glad to have you guys here. I hope I'm gonna do entertain you for the next couple minutes, educate you a little bit. So I hope you have a notepad, get some water, get comfortable, find a nice comfortable spot so you can listen and tune in. Pat Governor, hello. Thank you for coming. You absolute legend. For those of you who don't know, Pat Governor is probably been a part of Jeff longer than I have. So welcome, you legend. Cindy, part of Edgar's A-Team. What's up? Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for all tuning in. So it's been about 2 minutes in, so I think it's time for us to start with the show. So we're talking serious business right now, people. This is the do's and don'ts of fat loss and how to avoid mistakes in 2021. Why are we trying to avoid mistakes in 2021? Because this is the year of hashtag no excuses. We're going out, we're achieving our goals this year. We are getting ish done. So I want to tell you guys, like, as a former president of the Fat Boy Federation, still a member, but no longer president, I want to share you guys some of the tips and tricks and all that, and some of the mistakes I made along my journey, and some things which I think are going to be really beneficial in you and what you're trying to do and the goals you're trying to achieve in this year, to try and help you fast track some of the bumps in the road that the vast majority of us do face. So without further ado, number one. The first sort of mistake the vast majority of us make in the goals of fat loss is we don't quite define what our goal really is. For most people, we like to talk about, weight loss. I want to lose weight. And if we're being technical, that's not actually the right term to use. And this is why. So weight is how much mass is your body encompassing. It's how hard gravity is pulling you towards the center of Earth. Weight is a numerical value on the scale. So if I weighed in this morning at 113 kilos, big boy, I know, weighed in 113 kilos, I then had a glass of water and I had breakfast and I weighed in at 113.7 kilos. I added weight onto my body. Did I add any fat mass to my body? Nope, not even a little bit. It was pure just amount of atoms in my body that was holding. And that came from the food and the water I ate and drank. So weight loss is a very unstable term to use. If I was to chop my arm off right now, I would get rid of about 12 kilos of weight. Does that really help me in my goal to try and lose fat mass? Well, my arm is holding on to a little bit of fat mass, so maybe a little bit, but not really what I'm trying to achieve here. So we need to try and define exactly what we're trying to do. For some of us, weight loss might be the actual goal. If you are a high-level runner or cyclist or anything of the sort, where losing weight in order to impact how much you're carrying and how your performance, that might be an actual goal. So losing weight might be exactly what you're trying to do. The vast majority of us, though, we're trying to lose fat. It's fat loss, not weight loss. So we need to be very clear about what the goal is and what we're trying to do, because that sort of guides the methods and programming we need to undertake to get there. Everybody with me so far? Cool. Number 12. It's more like a little anecdote. You, in order to achieve any goal, whether that goal be weight loss, whether it be having a successful business, whether it be a good husband, a good father, whatever it is, in order to get from where you are now to that point, you need to start acting like you're at that point already. So if I use like you want to be a good partner to your spouse, your partner, whatever it is, you need to, in order to become a good partner, start acting like a good partner. So you need to be attentive and listen to them when they talk. You need to be loving. You need to shower them with gifts. You need to listen to them, talk to them, all that jazz. So can you tell I'm not the greatest partner in the world? So you need to already almost fake it till you make it. You need to start acting like you're already there in order to get there. Similar thing with fat loss. In order to be someone who is lean and has a chiseled six-pack that you can grate cheese on, you need to act like you're already that person. And what would that person do? They're eating nutritious meals. They're exercising frequently. They avoid binging whenever possible. So in order for you to get to that point, you need to start acting like you're already at that point. So whenever you're going through your daily routine, you need to ask yourself, listen, the version of me who is 12 kilos lighter, would they be doing what I'm about to do? Would they go for that third helping of cake? Would they take the elevator as opposed to taking the stairs? Is what I'm about to do the kind of behavior that the best version of myself I'm trying to move towards would do? And if the answer to that is no, then you need to reevaluate what this action you're about to undertake is. So you need to act like you're already at your goal. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. That makes perfect sense to me. Okay, so number 3. One of the biggest mistakes, and I'm very, 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 very guilty of this, is one of the biggest mistakes in the road to fat loss is we tend to get impatient with the process. We have, the vast majority of us, and this is true for me, spent the last number of years slowly accumulating fat onto our bodies, and the scale slowly over a long period of time climb up until we suddenly realize, oh no, I'm 10, 12, 20 kilos overweight for my body. And we expect to undo years of bad habits in 4 weeks. And unfortunately, the body does not do anything in a hurry. You need to be patient with the process. Rome was not built in a day, but every single day someone was building it. Quote for 2021. So we need to be patient with that process. You're not going to lose 10 kilos in 4 weeks. You might not even lose 5 kilos in 4 weeks. You might only lose 1 kilo in a 4-week stint. And you might be like, but Coach Ed, I worked my butt off. I ate healthy every single day. I exercised like there was no tomorrow. I did everything right. I'm so disappointed I only lost 1 kilo. Whereas what you should be focusing on is you are 1 kilo better than you were a month ago. And you will be another kilo better next month. And if you keep accumulating those small little victories over a long enough period of time, you will be at your goal. And when you are at your goal, you're not really going to care nor remember how long it took to get there. All you're going to know is the sweet taste of victory at finally being there. So let's not be impatient with the process. Rome was not built in a day. Every day it was built. Keep adding the small little victories. Don't get impatient with the process, and don't compare your progress to someone else's. I'm super guilty of that. I'm looking at like my younger brother, who is actually in the next room right now, staying with me for a few days. Back when we hit, I hit puberty first and then him, we were both chubby as preteens into teens. So I hit puberty, and the boost in hormones and all that jazz that's meant to come with that did absolutely nothing to how chubby I was. If anything, I kept on picking up weight. Woe is me. Him, on the other hand, a little bit more fortunate. His genetic makeup just happened to coincide just a little bit better than mine did. He hit puberty, and the first thing that happened to him is he grew an extra 10 centimeters, stretched out and leaned out. And he has out of the two of us, despite me being the athlete, he has the much more athletic frame. And I looked at him and be like, that is so unfair. We live in the same house. We have the same routine. We have the same parents, the same genetics. We eat basically the same thing because it's whatever our parents prepare for us or what's in the fridge. Why am I overweight and you're not? But I'm like, dude, there's factors outside our control. There's your own genetic makeup. There's your own hormones. There's your own physical activity. I am not him. He is not me. I can't look at the results he's getting and then infer what I should be getting. Unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way. The world isn't fair. It just is what it is. So even if you are doing everything that someone else is doing, you can't compare your results to theirs and their results to yours. You are on your own journey. This is something you're going to have to do. Your body will do what it does. The only thing within your control is your habits, your physical activity, your nutrition, and what you do towards that goal. What your body does in response is what your body will do in response. So I like to think of myself as a very practical thinker. So if things are outside my control, they're outside my control. I don't bother stressing about them. If they're within my control, then they are within my control, and I have means to correct and change them. So if they're in my control, I do everything within my control. If it's outside my control, it's not even worth stressing over because it's outside your control. So as long as you know at the end of the day, listen, I did the exercise, I ate correctly, I slept, I hydrated, I have done every single thing within my control to move towards my goal, then let your body work the magic. Your body will get it done. Trust the process. Trust the process. Jono's favorite words. Need to trust the process. And if you know that, oh, listen, yeah, I exercised today, but I kind of skipped yesterday's, and breakfast was awesome, but lunch was less than ideal, then you can't really get upset with the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. If your body doesn't let you get away with small mistakes, then you can't afford to make small mistakes. And unfortunately, it's how the cookie crumbles. So don't compare yourself. Don't be impatient. Put the work in. That was quite a long one. Okay, so enough of the philosophical side of the do's and don'ts of fat loss. Let's go more into the X's and O's. So this is the part I want you guys to like latch on to and like practical examples you can take into your day. So when it comes to, I said weight loss, I meant to say fat loss. Even I get into the habit of saying that. When it comes to fat loss, there are a whole host of factors and variables that take into consideration. But some factors and variables are more important and more vital to the whole process than others. Think of it like a giant puzzle. Some of the pieces are large pieces, some of the pieces are small pieces. Each piece you lay down is adding a component to completing this puzzle, but some pieces are more important than others. So a big, huge centerpiece, the head in the picture that you're trying to put down on this puzzle is how much energy your body intakes versus how much energy your body outputs. Is that the only equation you need to know for fat loss? No, but it is the starting point of the equation. It is where you start and then all other factors move around. So you need to figure out for your body, how much energy do I need to input? There's various ways you can guesstimate that. One, get a coach who's knowledgeable with the equation. They can figure out based on your height, weight, current body fat percentage and stuff like that, how much estimated food you should be intaking, how much energy you should be intaking. And then how much you output goes down to how much energy your body needs to stay alive, how much energy your body needs to do physical activity that's non-exercise related, so walking around, picking things off the floor, etc. and how much energy your body needs for additional exercise in. So a couple of you have signed on to like the one-on-one program. A couple of you have a little bit of injuries or stuff like that, or you have things slowing you down on the exercise front. Well, the bulk of the energy output your body needs to do or needs to produce is just used to keep you alive. So at my current body weight, 113 kilos, I need 2,200 kilos just to stay alive. That's how much my heart, lungs, liver, and all that need. Because I'm not sleeping in a bed all day and I'm moving around, I need approximately another 200 calories for my non-exercise daily activity. And then I burn approximately about 350 to 500 calories during an exercise bout. On days when I'm not exercising, that 350 to 500 calorie exercise output is no longer there. But that only really accounts for at most 20% of my daily output. I'm too lazy to do the math. Meaning I can maximize my nutrition to account like, listen, I'm injured right now, I can't exercise. I will not be burning that 350 to 500 calories extra every day. Thus, I don't need to take that energy in to account for it. I can still manipulate things in order to continue my fat loss journey. So for those of us who are injured, that is a way you can continue moving towards your goals. Even if you can't exercise to your utmost ability, you can still manipulate the equation from how much food you are intaking in. Overall calorie balance, energy in versus energy out, you can still apply that. It's a little bit more complicated than I'm making it seem right now. So getting someone who's a little bit more knowledgeable on the subject is a great idea to help guide and steer you in that way, which is why we have so many coaches on the team, experts at their field. They're geniuses at this sort of thing. So reach out if you have any questions, ask on the group for us to help you. But yeah, that's one way we can go about things. Another way is, and the reason why I don't like talking in broad strokes is someone could hear what I'm saying now and be like, oh, so if I go from exercising at 500 calories a day to 800 calories a day, I'm going to accelerate my fat loss, which in a closed system is technically true. But again, nothing in the human body works in a closed system. We also need to factor in sleep, your recovery, how your body's coping with stress. We don't want to get you exercising at 800 calories a day, and then your body breaks down and burns out a week later, and then you're forced to take a week off training, and then it balances out to as if you had never done that in the first place. So you do need to balance the other factors out. And again, before you do anything too crazy, ask one of the coaches to help you and guide you and steer you. But a calorie deficit is what's needed for fat loss. And that is the biggest piece of the puzzle, which also means all these fancy diets where like keto, Banting, paleo, whatever it is, those are diets whose goal is to elicit a calorie deficit. But the magic isn't the fact that you cut out carbs. The magic isn't the fact that you cut out fat. The magic is you cut out a certain number of calories in a day, created a caloric deficit, energy in was balanced with energy out. So there are no magical diets that just seem to work like magic. Like, unfortunately, the world doesn't work by magic. It's all science at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's all about it being in a caloric deficit. So learn how to balance energy in versus energy out. And that will be the biggest piece of the puzzle to solving your fat loss. Hope I didn't go too in depth and confuse you guys. Let me know in the comments if you're having any questions, if I need to backtrack on something. But moving on. When it comes to, you have non-exercise physical activity and you have exercise physical activity. With the calories you burn from physical activity, you also need to balance out your ability to recover from those bouts of physical activity. So think of it like digging a hole. Like you want to dig a deep enough hole that you are creating enough of a demand for energy that your body needs to sort of react to that. And hopefully that demand for energy puts in a caloric deficit. But you don't want to dig a hole so deep that your body cannot possibly dig itself back out of. because that's when you start to lead into burnout. That's when your body starts to break down on you. You're risking injury, you're risking fatigue. So you need to balance out how hard of physical activity you're giving yourself per day and per week. A nice way to add extra physical activity with a lot less risk to burning yourself out is if you're doing one of our HIIT sessions or LIT sessions or whatever it is, and you have a good exercise session, that is your exercise physical activity. You can increase how many calories you're burning by increasing your non-exercise physical activity through activities like walking. Walking is a very low stress type of physical activity, doesn't stress the body as hard. So if you increase how much you're walking, you're a lot less of a risk of burning out, because it's very hard to burn yourself out from walking. It's also a very natural human movement, so it doesn't cause as much undue stress. So something as simple as increasing your total daily steps a day is a huge, massive tool into increasing your fat loss. So right now, if you're tracking your steps, just see what your weekly average is. If you're averaging 4,000 steps a day, plus you're doing 5 of our Jeff workouts a week, simply going from 4,000 steps a day to 6,000 steps a day, you're increasing your energy demand without increasing the total amount of stress your body is under, and that can be a nice effective tool. So I normally do something as simple as when I brush my teeth, because that's 2 minutes of my day where I'm just standing there. I brush my teeth and walk around the house to try and increase my steps. When I'm going from one room to the other, let's say from my bedroom to the kitchen, I'll take a detour to the lounge for the sake of wasting a couple steps and then go to the kitchen. And those little extra tidbits, such as parking a little bit further away when you're going to the grocery store and walking further, which is something most of us are guilty of not doing, those little extra little tweaks to your daily routine, just trying to waste a couple extra steps a day, sounds stupid, but those add up. Even if you're averaging only 1,000 steps a day more, that's 7,000 steps at the end of a week. And for a lot of us, 7,000 steps is more than we get in a day. So you effectively had one more day of walking in your week than you otherwise wouldn't have had. And that goes a long way. And the last thing I want to touch on is what to do when you've gone off the rails. It's your 1.5 days off the program. You want to have some cake. You want to have some pizza. You're going out with your husband or your wife, and you took things a little bit too far. What do you do now? Woe is me. I already ate crap during lunch. I give up. The game is over. I'll be fat for the rest of my life. No. My whole philosophy on eating is you're only ever one meal away from being back on track. Mistakes are going to happen. We're not perfect. The key to successful fat loss is consistency. So having one bad day a month, one bad day every other week is not, in the grand scheme of things, going to affect you all that greatly. The trick is to try and minimize how often that happens. And as soon as it does happen, try and go back to being on plan as soon as you can. One bad meal is not going to make you fat the same way one good meal is not going to make you lose fat. It's all about consistency. If you're eating 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, I can't do math. Let's say that's 50 meals or whatever the math is. A couple of you are laughing at me right now because I can't math in my head when I'm talking. If 10 of those 50 meals were bad meals, you still had 40 good meals. Over the course of the 50 meal average, you're still doing a good job. And try and think of it like that. It's trying to accumulate as many good meals as you can per week, per month, per year. That cadence, that consistency is going to lead to effective fat loss in the long run. Yes, the more bad meals you have, the more you're slowing the process down and slowing yourself down. But again, as I said in the beginning, you're not going to remember how long it took you. Is it really going to matter that it took you 4 months to get to your goal instead of 3, or it took you 7 months instead of 5? All you're going to know at the end of 7 months is, hey, I'm sexy, I feel good, all my clothes fit. So even if it takes a little bit longer, it doesn't matter. The point is to get there. This is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes the time it takes. Mistakes are going to happen along the road. Some of those mistakes are necessary to learning the process of getting there. Enjoy the process and trust the system. And that is my rant for today. Let me pop in the questions and see what you guys have to ask before our time is up. I hope you guys enjoyed that for the most part. It wasn't my most eloquently put, Jeff Ed, but I think I got the point across. A couple technical terms in there I didn't want to like dive too deep into. So if there's anything I didn't quite explain all the way for you to understand, just let me know. Allison is saying here, I think it all works on nutrition in versus out exercise. Don't think there's a magic tablet out there. Listen, there is not a magic tablet out there. Think of it this way. Everybody and their grandmother wants to lose a little bit of fat. So whoever invents that magic pill is going to be a freaking billionaire instantly, world famous. Everybody will know who they are, and everybody will be on that pill, be included. So if such a magic pill existed that actually worked, 9.9 times out of 10, you would already know about it. It wouldn't be a secret. Everybody wants to lose fat. So if there was a magic pill that existed, I guarantee you would know about it and I would be telling you about it. Unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way. How do you calculate your requirements? Nikki, I'm going to leave a comment down below. I'm going to leave the formula down. Again, there are multiple formulas you can use. It does get a little bit complicated. So do not confuse yourself. If you can, find an expert in your field. We have a variety of expert coaches on our team. Trust them with the system. Caloric deficit for fat loss. Yes, indeed, Carrie, that is true. Caloric deficit is the most important and biggest piece of the puzzle. It's not the only thing that matters. There are a variety of other factors to consider, but like I said, in the giant puzzle you're trying to formulate, it's a big centerpiece. It cannot be done without that being got right, but you might need some other factors to come right as well. My thoughts on fat burners. 9 out of 10 of them are a complete waste of money. Not to say that they don't do something, but the amount of efficacy they have and how much they work versus how much they cost, the cost to benefit ratio is not in a great place for me. So I don't recommend them. Some of them do work and do something, but I'm not paying $400 a pop for a box of pills that are only adding 0.0% towards my journey. That's not a big enough chunk for how much they cost. And some of them can do more damage than good. So I would be on the side of caution with those. But yeah. Let's see who else is here before we run out of time. These Jeff Eds are never long enough. I go on a rant for way too long. If it's calories in versus calories out, why are different proteins, for example, allowed that have different caloric value? For instance, one protein on the Jeff plan is 2 eggs versus one protein being half a scoop of protein powder. So there are, again, when I said calories in versus calories out is the biggest piece of the puzzle, but not the only one. That is more or less what I meant. So what that basically means is the other factors you need to consider, like what foods are you getting these calories in from? How bioavailable are the calories you're taking in? How do those calories affect your insulin sensitivity? How do those calories affect your gut health? So those are other factors to consider. So for simplicity's sake, we make a protein portion for the sake of the plan, which is why we in the one-on-one program always partner you with a coach who is trying to identify trends into how you eat and how your body responds to that, and trying to see, are you someone who processes eggs really well, or a select few of us in the population are allergic to egg white, and that tends to wreak havoc with certain systems in our body. Really difficult to identify, but there are signs and symptoms you can look out for. When it comes to stuff like getting your starch from white bread versus getting your starch from more single ingredient sources like rice and potato. starch is starch, but not all starches are created equal. Sometimes you can have ill effects to either one for whatever reason. So those are other factors to consider. That can be a Jeff Ed on its own. But Simone, I'm coaching you, so we can have this conversation online. One more question before our time's up. Scan through. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it's been beneficial. Listen, I'm going to be in the comments section soon after this. If you have any more questions I couldn't get to, pop them down below. Send me a DM. I'm always available to help. And so is our excellent coaching staff. Listen, I work with some incredible people, some very knowledgeable people. Make use of them. Like, we're always available to answer questions, to help you guys out. I didn't want to turn this into like a PSA or whatever it is, but one of the biggest helps for fat loss that helped me personally is I got myself a coach. I realized, listen, I know the X's and O's, I know the ins and outs of fat loss because I studied it through a textbook. I learned it through trial and error over years myself. And I realized for me, I need someone who doesn't care about my subjective feelings to be on me and tell me what I already know I have to do. So one of the biggest things, and I've made the most progress for a variety of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons I've made the most progress in the last 12 months, because I handed the rails to someone else who's like, listen, I'm tired of overthinking the process for myself. I'm going to trust you to do it. Whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do, and there'll be no questions asked. And since then, my whole journey, my whole goals have accelerated greatly. Like I couldn't undersell how much that's helped me. I couldn't oversell how much that's helped me. So one of the biggest things you can do is get yourself a coach or a friend, someone to be accountable to other than yourself. And yeah, that's all the time we have for today, folks. I've been Coach Ed. You've been amazing. I'll check you guys in the next one or in the comment section. Cheers.